In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know for how to make Google Slides projects with your students. Making Google Slides projects with students is a great way to integrate technology to promote collaboration, creativity, as well as teach students important and relevant 21st century skills. Google Slides projects allow students to present their work in ways that traditional pencil and paper projects simply cannot. With Google Slides, students can select from a huge array of different templates. They can add images, videos, GIFs, drawings, pretty much any kind of multimedia that's out there. And then you can teach students how to animate their slides to look extra professional. And students can easily share their Google Slides with each other to collaborate on a project inside or outside of class. My name is Sam Kary, and on my YouTube channel, I share practical ideas, tips, and strategies for how to integrate education technology in your classroom. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create a template in Google Slides that you can then push out to students using Google Classroom. Then I'll show you all the most important educational features of Google Slides so that you're prepared to teach students how to make templates on their own. If you find my video helpful, please share it with your teacher friends, hit the like button to show your support, and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss any of my weekly video updates. You can also visit my website at www.newedtechclassroom.com to find additional resources for using technology in your class. First, let's look at some actual examples of Google Slides projects that students have created in my 6th grade humanities classroom. In this first example, I'm going to show you a project that I do with my students after they finish a book that we've just read in class. For this Google Slide, I pre-created a template that I shared with students through Google Classroom, and students entered the information that they had learned. The focus of this first Google Slide project that I do with students is to become familiar with the format of Google Slides, input high quality content, do a little bit of customization with adding images and different backgrounds. And then I also teach students how to do different transitions so that they can make their slides look a little bit more professional. All right, now let's look at how to actually create one of these templates that you can push out to students through Google Classroom or another digital classroom platform that you use. Here I'll show you how I set up the template for having students do a quote analysis project about a book that they just read. When I'm making templates, I mostly use text boxes. The text box is indicating to them what information they need to include on a particular slide. I'll direct students to erase what I've written and then add their own information. The way you add a text box is by going up to the Insert button, click Insert Text Box. Then you can drag the text box to resize it and rearrange it however you would like on the page. To add thickness to the text box so that it's actually visible, I'll go up to the line weight, select a border weight, and now you can see that the text box is actually there for students to see. So now you can see that I'm adding several different text boxes to my document, as well as some short text descriptions about what students should be inputting into those text boxes. After I have some basic text boxes entered, I'm going to drag the corners around and use the alignment tools to make sure that they're sized properly and aligned so that it looks really neat and professional. In order to duplicate this slide over and over, all you need to do is double click on the slide you want to duplicate, click Duplicate Slide. So here I'll have a slide that represents each chapter of the book that we read. After you've created this basic template for students, you can either give it to them as is and let them customize it as they would like. If you want to model a little bit more for them how they might customize their slides, you can do things like add some different background colors or add a background image. So here I'm just going to show you how I would add a background image to this template in order to motivate my students to do that when they're creating their own slides. I'll go up to Background, choose Image, search for an image that I want, or find an image from my computer. I'll click Upload, and now you can see that the image that I chose is in the background of my slide. Pre-creating a template for students is a great way to provide them with some scaffolding and also ensure that students follow a particular structure for their Google Slides presentations. All right, I'm happy for now with that. So now I'm going to show you how I would push this template out to students on Google Classroom. First, go to the Classwork tab, and from there, I will click Create an Assignment. I'll give the project a title and a description, And now I'm going to add that file directly from my Google Drive. I'll find it right in my recents. I'll click add, and I'm going to change this function from students can view file to make a copy for each student. Now, when I click assign, all my students will receive an email that they were assigned a template. And when they log into Google Classroom, they will see that they have an individual slide presentation that they can edit and create for themselves. Another option is that you give students criteria for a project and then teach them more general skills about how to use Google Slides on their own. Making their own slides presentations without a template is definitely a more advanced strategy. And I would recommend that when you are teaching students, you make your own video tutorial using Screencastify in order to teach students all the different features of Google Slides, rather than trying to teach them that live in front of the whole class. When I'm teaching students how to use Google Slides, one of the first things I'll show them are third-party websites where they can get additional Google Slides templates that are pre-made for them, but that aren't going to tell them the content that needs to go into each of their boxes. A great third-party website is Slidesmania. As you can see on Slidesmania, there are tons of different Google Slides templates that students can choose from if they want options that are different from the default themes that are available on Google Slides. So the beauty of Google Slides is that it is essentially a massive open-ended multimedia document that can be collaborated on by anyone, anywhere. Google Slides are endlessly customizable, and I like to emphasize with my students that you're not going to break the internet, you're not going to break Google Slides, so go ahead and play around with all the different features. When I make my own tutorial for students, I will teach them how to insert different types of media. In particular, I'll direct them to external websites like Pixabay or Unsplash, where they can get images that they are allowed to use. In the past, I used to send my students to Google Images a lot to get pictures, but I soon realized that students were using a lot of images that they didn't technically have the right to use. Teaching students about making sure that they get images that they're allowed to use is a great way to fold in some digital citizenship into your Google Slides lesson. Once you find an image that you like from a website like Unsplash, you can download it onto your computer, and then you can insert that same image back into your Google Slide. I also make sure to show my students how they can attribute the source of that image directly onto their Google Slide. Students should also understand the basics of how to change the font type, how to change the font size, as well as how to use the different alignment tools. Teaching students how to add text boxes is also important so that they're able to add text whenever and wherever they need to on their slide. I'll also show my students how to use word art. As you can see with word art, text is even more customizable than it is with normal font features, and students can do things with text that make their presentation even more creative and interesting. As with all the creative projects that I do with my students, we talk about the importance of strategically choosing color for background and text. Here you can teach students how they can change the background to be different colors or gradients of colors. There are other features of Google Slides like inserting videos, audio files. There are also lots of different shapes and symbols that students can use to customize their Google Slides however they would like. Next, I'll show students how to add transitions between their slides, as well as how to animate single slides. Adding transitions and animations is what makes Google Slides look really professional. In order to add a transition between slides, you'll go up to the transition button. From there, you'll see a drop-down menu of different transitions that you can choose from. Select a transition, and then you can preview what it will look like as one slide is transitioning to the next. You'll see that under the transitions, there's also a place where you can add animations. Animations can be added to specific segments of the Google slide. So let's say, for example, that you want to add an animation to the title. You're going to click on the title, select an animation that you want to try, click preview to check out what that animation is going to look like. You can continue to animate the different parts of the slide to ensure that the different segments come in when you want them to. This can be really effective if you're going through a list, bullet points, or you just want to highlight specific parts of your presentation for viewers to look at first, rather than presenting the entire slide all at once. If you are going to be animating text and want it to fly in line by line, it's important to click that by paragraph box. Now you'll notice that you can also rearrange the order of the animations however you like. This is useful if you set up animations in an order that doesn't make sense and you need to rearrange them so that when you click next, the correct segment of the Google slide is coming in when you want it to. After I've shown my students all these features, I'll make sure that they understand how to share their document with others by going up to the share button and then entering the email of other people that they want to share their presentation with. This will allow them to collaborate with other students in the class, and they can even be working on that project together remotely in different locations because everything that they do on Google Slides is saved and stored in the cloud. In today's day and age, it's pretty much guaranteed that students are going to be asked to do some form of digital presentation at some point in their academic or professional lives. Teaching students how to use Google Slides in your classroom is a great way to teach them a relevant skill that's going to help them later in life. Plus, they're fully customizable and students can really get creative with the work that they produce. If you have any questions about how I've used Google Slides with my students, please ask in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching my video to the end. If it was helpful and you learned something, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button and share it with other teachers that you know. You can also click on these 2 videos to check out some of my other education technology tutorials. And subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss any of my weekly video updates. Thanks so much and have a great week.